Have you noticed the strange fog sweeping across the world recently? It's not your average mist. Reports from Finland to the US describe dense, eerie fog accompanied by unexplained lights and, in some cases, strange disappearances. In Finland, witnesses reported glowing lights flickering within the fog, with some claiming a pulling sensation when entering the mist. In the US, this same phenomenon coincides with the uptick in UAP sightings, especially over New Jersey. Theories. Some say this fog is a cover, literally, hiding secret government experiments or UAP activity. What if this isn't just weather? Could it be advanced tech testing? Or even UAPs using the fog as camouflage? The timing is too strange to ignore. So, what's your theory? Natural phenomenon or something more sinister?
It is night. It is cold. It is coming. For all those who can hear my voice, look into the darkness across the water. Look for the fog. John Carpenter's The Fog. What in the living hell is out there? John Carpenter's The Fog. Coming soon from Avco Embassy Pictures.
Low visibility in spots due to some dense morning fog.
Tonight we've got fog along the river and into western Iowa, zero visibility.
Which is being impacted not only by the fog that still seems to be fairly dense at this hour.
Outside Heathrow Airport, the air traffic control tower is barely visible. Emerging from the fog, this plane is one of the flights that made it.
For the last 7 days, the world has been shrouded in a veil of mystery. An unrelenting fog that stretches from the poop-covered streets of Portland, Oregon, to the quietest corners of the countryside. This is no ordinary weather phenomenon. It's a dense, suffocating mist with an unsettling smell of chemicals lingering in the air. Residents in every corner of the globe have reported seeing strange, glittering particles suspended within it, almost as if the fog is alive, hiding secrets within its depths. The fog has already claimed lives. 4 catastrophic plane crashes in just 1 week. Travel has ground to a halt, and fear grips the population. But the questions don't end there. People who've come into direct contact with the fog are reporting severe illness, nausea, dizziness, and even unexplained rashes. Scientists are baffled, and officials remain silent. But silence only breeds suspicion. Whispers of government involvement are spreading like wildfire. Could this fog be the result of geoengineering gone wrong, or perhaps a deliberate act of control? And if that's not enough to send shivers down your spine, consider this. In the weeks leading up to the fog's arrival, reports of UFO sightings reached an all-time high. Some believe the government is using this chemical-laden haze to obscure something they don't want us to see, something watching us from the skies. Tonight we dive into the enigma of the toxic fog. What is it? Where did it come from? And most importantly, what are they trying to hide?
Has anybody else noticed it's been foggy for days now, and the internet never fails to let me know what's happening? The first thing I saw said this is all down to geoengineering. What's that? I have no idea. Another thing I saw said it's down to chemtrails. If you don't know what chemtrails are, if you look at an airplane flying over and you see like water vapour coming out the back, a lot of people believe that's something dodgy by the government. Hey! Now, another theory that is quite interesting is the government doesn't want you to see what's in the sky. Now, I'm not too sure what that means, but one thing the fog did stop me seeing was the horse racing was on ITV. Couldn't even see the horses running. Weird. And then another theory, which is the obvious one, UFOs causing all this fog. And there are some people saying it could just be fog. A lot of different opinions. What do you think's causing all this fog?
So I have seen no videos on this, so I'm just going to talk about it. The fog. That's right, people. This weird fog shit that has been around for days and is supposedly making people sick. Well, I feel like shit. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what it's looked like in Ohio for days, okay? I've also been getting progressively shittier feeling in the past days. If you guys are going through this and are seeing this, please let me know. Because I just find it really strange, okay, that I was completely fine and then all of a sudden this weather comes in and I feel like shit. Something's up, y'all. Like something is up. And what I feel is not normal. Like, I feel like my body is panicking. Like, it's going like alarm after alarm after alarm. It's not the flu. It's not a cold. I'm getting hot. I'm getting chills. I feel like I'm going to throw up every 10 minutes. America, tell me if you are going through this and if there is fog.
What's up with the fog? Everywhere I look, there's posts about fog. I just rode back with my husband from Pennsylvania to Georgia. And let me tell you about what we saw. We crossed 7 states. We went from Pennsylvania to Maryland to West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, then Georgia. And there was fog in almost every state. Like, yes, there was some weather going on. There was a little rain here and there, but 7 states, like, it's really odd. Everybody's talking about this fog that's making them sick, this fog after these things we've been seeing in the air that we can't talk about. They're spraying stuff from these things, and maybe it's causing some of this illness, and this fog is part of it. There's this thick fog everywhere we went. And when we got to Virginia, a place called Fancy Gap, I think they're known for having some issues with fog, but this was so bad we almost had to pull over the car. Like, we could not see where we were going.
I don't know if it's just me, but for the last few days, I have been having this weird feeling like something big is about to happen, right? Like this weird feeling of impending doom. I have been having this crazy feeling like in my belly. I don't know what it is, okay? To be brutally honest, I feel like something is already happening. And here's why. For the last few days, there have been crazy reports of dense, thick fog in many states all over America, in addition to the UK. Now, this is not your regular fog because a lot of people have been reporting that they have been seeing some weird type of mist coming out of the sky with this fog, okay? In addition to that, there have been 4 plane crashes, y'all, within the last 5 days, okay? 3 of those plane crashes occurred within the last 24 hours. You had one on Christmas Day in Kazakhstan, and then within the last 24 hours, you had one in South Korea, Nova Scotia, as well as Norway. In addition to that, y'all, so many people have been reporting this weird sickness, where as though they're having muscle soreness, sore throat, body aches, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, the whole 9. And they said that this sickness had just been coming out of nowhere. I don't know about you, but I feel like something big is happening or about to happen, and these people just are not telling us. What are your thoughts?
What the heck is going on, guys? It is so freaking foggy out here, and it's been like this for like the past 6 days. I've been seeing this all over my FYP. This is definitely not normal for this time of year. I'm in the Midwest. I'm in Illinois right now, and it's been so difficult to drive. Right now, it's a little bit brighter than it was earlier, but the visibility is still low, so I'm gonna turn the camera. Oh, I don't see the option to turn the camera around, but so you guys can see, you can't see anything past that barring there. And it's been, oh, my babies want to say hi. I've been seeing people all over the world experiencing this. I don't know what the heck is going on. I don't know why it's so foggy. Let me know if you're experiencing the same thing in the comments there. I just think it's super weird because this is not normal for this time of year for us. We farm, we track the weather every year. I've looked at my notes and I have not seen anything like this in January ever in my life. So let me know.
What's going on with this fog? There's been so many people in different cities, different states, and different countries talking about this fog that's appearing over cities that is weird and it smells different. And it's not natural either for the time of year or the way it looks is a little bit odd. And I've seen videos from the UK, from Canada, from so many states in America right now that is talking about this fog. And The reason this is important is because different things keep happening, right? Because the Dior bags apparently don't exist and they're covering it up. And some of them were leaving certain trails that people believe to be unnatural and harmful to us. And now that there's this fog and people have been reporting going through this fog and feeling kind of weird and having it smell a little man-made, and it's really odd.
Now what do you think is the reason for this strange fog? Whether it's a natural phenomenon, a catastrophic failure of human engineering, or something far more sinister, one thing is clear. We're left with more questions than answers. Why does it carry the scent of chemicals? Why are people falling ill? And why now, at a time when the skies have been more active than ever? Is it a coincidence, or could this be a deliberate attempt to keep us blind to what's above? If history has taught us anything, it's that the truth has a way of surfacing, eventually. But until then, all we can do is keep asking questions, keep demanding answers, and keep watching the skies. The fog may obscure our vision, but it can't hide the truth forever.
Going to take a look at this mysterious fog and something mysterious in a swimming pool in East Texas. Here we go. These videos are less than 48 hours old. Video out of East Texas, shared with me by Heart Song from December 30th of 2024. This video was taken by her friend who found this in her pool yesterday morning. And she said she didn't change the chemicals, did absolutely nothing different, but something very different appeared on the surface of the pool. Almost looked like a version of foam, maybe thick snow, but it was neither. It was something that she had never seen, and it was following this mysterious fog that people are seeing, supposedly all around the globe. And zooming in on this stuff, it does look very strange, doesn't it? Looks like a thick foam or something that's coagulated on the top of their pool. Look at that. What in the world is going on? Okay, we're going from mystery substances to the fog. This first video has narration. Here we go. It's out of California.
Walking to McDonald's, bro. 11-minute walk. Bro, I can't even see shit, bro. The fog is coming. The fog is coming.
Okay, that was along the west coast of California, going to the east coast in Pennsylvania. Shane Deppen. Check this out. Talk about fog. Almost looked like snow, but it was being described as fog. This next video is out of Houston, Texas. It's more fog. It has narration. Here we go.
So I've been hearing about all this talk about the fog all over the world. And I'm out in Houston. I'm in the Galleria area on the 17th floor. And it's about like 3 in the morning. And it's pretty foggy everywhere, as you can see. There's like a residential area below me. And usually this way you see buildings and all that. But I don't see anything. It's pretty crazy. I don't know what it's about, but yeah. And this is at 7 in the morning. Still pretty foggy. I'm just showing the residential area now. The house is below. Still, it's pretty foggy, the sun's coming out, the sun's about to rise.
Very foggy indeed. That video out of Houston, Texas. This video out of Florida from the same day, 12/30 of 2024. Check this out. Looks just like it did up in Pennsylvania. And this thick fog, whatever this mysterious substance is, maybe it coagulated on top of that swimming pool and formed that white mysterious substance. But this is a very thick, unusual fog. And they say this is a global phenomenon. People are seeing this all around the world. Super thick, mysterious fog. Coast to coast, we've seen this video from California to Pennsylvania and 2 locations in between.
11:55, almost midnight. Enough time for one more story. 5 minutes. It'll be the 21st of April. It is told by the fishermen and their fathers and grandfathers that when the fog returns to Antonio Bay, the men at the bottom of the sea will rise up.
fog here in Minnesota and Wisconsin for the last 4 days has just been incredible. In fact, this is probably the least fog we've had. It's 3:30 in the afternoon, and all of Minneapolis just has this deep, foggy, kind of post-apocalyptic hellscape feel to it.
Okay, I am not one for conspiracy theories, but I've been seeing these videos about fog. Okay, everyone gets fog, right? But they're saying how bizarre the fog is. And so I'm thinking to myself, and this is just maybe 10 minutes ago, I'm like, yeah, fog. Okay. I'm in Los Angeles area. We get some, fog once in a while, but I can't see anything past my property. What the fuck is this? What? Now, again, it's fog. It's fog. But this is some thick fog. It's kind of eerie.
We gotta address the attack of the fog. We've seen videos coming out. Also, we've got information on where this is specifically going and how they're implementing it. In a 4-star general talking about payloads that potentially we're not even going to get to. We're going to just play that clip later. First clip we need to get into. This is not just about that. This is a deep dive. The fog is poisonous. I started sweating. I was outside after it was outside breathing it. Do not go outside. I'm warning you. This is a very dangerous game that the government is playing with us all. She shows a clip of the atmosphere after that. And I've been getting emails in left and right about what's happening on the ground, but I want to just put this up on screen without saying a word. I was telling y'all about this not too long ago. And we got some other footage that's kind of crazy too. Well, what were we talking about a while ago? The Johns Hopkins document, the drone networks. And it doesn't just have to be drones. It doesn't just have to be that. It could be the planes with the drones. Let's play this next clip, eyewitness account video right here. Now, no rain, no fog was outside, no snow, no sleet that night. And then check this out. You see all these little things going by and then something green it just flashes green. What in the heck was that? What is really going on and how are you really feeling, everybody? Somebody says fog in Minnesota. Actually, I'm going to name each state that this is happening in, and there is an agenda that I believe is tied to this that I went behind the scenes and decoded on my own. This 4-star general, he just came out not too long ago, Barry McCaffrey, talking about what could be attached to the drones. And we want to play that video clip because this is important to our investigation as people. And this video right here, I'm going to go ahead and play it.
It's a significant threat to U.S. national security. When you see something of this capacity, you wonder why it would be needed. What are they doing? It implies a heavy payload, and a heavy payload would be either something dangerous, a bomb.
Something dangerous or a bomb, but something dangerous on a payload. We can literally look at a video in UK where a guy is seeing a substance inside of this fog. So we just went from areas in the United States. We're going to get to the states and then potential points of why they would need to do this and what you can do.
I know that looks like rain, but that is not rain. That is the light from the caravan. That is not rain. That is particles that are coming out. Okay, weird fine powder.
So payload powder. What a powdery substance is showing that potentially in this is a payload, and this doesn't even have to be a real fog. We're going to go into some people saying New York City doesn't have any fog. Well, guess what? We're going to go right here. You can see 12 states has this fog warning. And when I look at this and I show you this, you're going to see F's by Michigan. You're going to see a Q by Minnesota. You're going to see a Q by Texas, because we have done something that we're going to then reveal later about these specific areas and what's next to them. And we're starting to move into a continuity of government operation. It's all starting to unfold. The artificial fog, now I want to say what you can do yourself. For everybody that's here right now, somebody says, I've noticed this in the fog a couple of years back, even have vids of it. Everyone thought I was crazy. See, they was doing the payloads over time. They even had NASA dropping payloads and stuff like that, which they would do different bacterial things. You can look that up. But now we're moving into 2025, which I had videos that stated 2025, they're going to start initiating the blueprint for the next pandemic. And this is looking like that's what's coming to right now. So check this out. If you inhale artificial fog, these are the effects of it. It's on the NIH website. You can literally have chronic bronchitis. It says, but hitherto, the blame has rested in pollutants rather than with the water droplets content itself. An investigation of the effects of artificial water contamination fog at room temperature of 7 patients with chronic bronchitis showed significant reduction as compared to minimal absent effect in 7 out of 8 normal subjects. So yeah, it helps in the worsening of bronchitis. Basically, that's what it helps in. And it's not just that, it's a lot of other things, but the payload specifically, let's talk about this really quick, because this ain't going to be talked about anywhere else. Check it out. Look on screen right here where we go into the EPA was warning about not using fogging drones. So if there's a payload, it could be on planes, the drones, anything. Fogging drone is a drone that sprays fog or mist or chemical solution to control other purposes, pest or for other purposes. You know, they could look at you as a pest if they want to. But the key thing down there is health and forest epidemic prevention. Fogging drones can be used to prevent the spread of health and forest epidemics. So check this out. That's the key word right there. They could be using this for any process that they want to use it for and tell us. And I got a video clip illustration of what a fogging drone looked like, because we study all the technology and we try to reveal what can happen. You'll see over the course of a period, everything looks normal. But then after that, you'll see it really start to fog up. Now, the question is, do we have any evidence of a video where a drone is actually doing this? Probably not. And that tells me that the planes most likely could be the biggest culprit behind it. And the drones could then later, which we've seen them spray them in New Jersey and other areas. We have video clips of that. They could then be deploying the payloads like the 4-star general was stating. So as it goes on, though, you can see how you can walk into some area and you're like, oh, this is some nice fog here. And yeah, it's pretty nice here. And then next thing you know, your butt sniffing in some artificial fog. It ain't even real. It's a payload that was deliberate, and they can spread in the forest and say, well, it was an epidemic or the forest was getting sick, so we needed to do this in order to progress society. So let's move on into it after we just looked at this drone. Now you get how all this can happen, and you see the illustration of it. The people who are coming out and saying they're sick, this is reports coming out like in a lot of different areas, and even you here are saying this stuff. This is what's being said as far as we can see as well. This isn't fog, it's chemicals, it's nefarious. They were spraying all day yesterday. When does it stop? Another person said, around the globe are surfacing some mysterious illness linked to encounters with so-called chemical fogs, described as thick, lingering blanket. The fog have left people sick. Many are saying they're experiencing these type of symptoms on the screen. These are their personal experiences that we're talking about right here. So nobody at large really, as far as news media, is picking this up because they've moved into the campaign already of continuity of government operations. And that's why she's asking for the bee flu vax. So again, let's move into this right now. Before all this happened and all this go down, remember the bird flu summit? That was the operational continuity government beginning phase. So it's not a surprise that they're going to do this. And we're going to move into some key things that we're starting to see right now that you need to see so that we can move together appropriately in the future. And let's just put this up right now, because a lot of people left me for dead in the last pandemic anyway. And, oh, I know about all this. I know about all that, but I ain't going to stand up with you. I'm going to just let you get kicked out the bus. And then I'm going to come outside and talk to you and say, man, I'm sorry about that. Like, I don't want that this time. This is what we need to remember. We're grown adults. We're not children. Mandatory equals not a law. Required equals not a law. Mandated equals not a law. Requested equals not a law. Ordered equals not a law. Ordinance equals not a law. Decree is not a freaking law. So again, stop bowing down to tyranny and stop letting Satan's imps suck your energy out of your soul because you want to comply because the next person said, oh yeah, well, I got to do it because it's the right thing. And it's not the right thing. It's because you're being forced into doing something. And so this is ridiculous. Just remember those key things. Now let's move into the bird flu scenario once again and the operation here. So on screen, if you look right here, there's a reason I put an F by Michigan, because I was like, okay, so if these are the 12 states that's basically right now under this advisory, and if this is an engineered advisory, what's happening in Michigan? Well, we know Michigan, that area, there's a disaster declaration for FEMA, and they were staging over there, remember? They were staging for those trailers. They were saying, look, we're bringing in all these trailers. We're going to stage them at Oscoda Airport, where a former military base was at, and we're going to use that for future events. So that on screen right here, future events, remember that, what they said. Now let's go to the Qs. The Qs are Minnesota and Texas. Now the Qs is on the screen because those are quarantine stations. So I want you to really notice something. Minnesota is a quarantine station for CDC, and also Texas. That's why we put that on there. And something that's really interesting here, if you're continuity of government, notice where you don't see West Virginia on here. You don't see Washington, D.C. on here. You don't see, these are continuity of government operation areas. So let's look at this circle for a second. So for instance, all of the operations has been happening right here lately. And even the airspace closures in New Jersey, but Virginia, West Virginia, what is over there? Well, if you need to start a bird flu continuity of government operation, you don't want to spray your own people, do you? No, you don't want to do that. So check it out. This is like one of the capitals of continuity of government. Underground facilities like Mount Weather in Virginia and Raven Rock Mountain Complex in Maryland were built to house the government in an event of nuclear war. Not just nuclear war. They believe that if society literally stops existing, that they have to then reboot it by going there. They show a lot of predictive programming like the series 100. They go to Mount Weather in catastrophic scenario, and they rebuild society from the image that they think they're going to rebuild it from. So again, once the continuity of government operation has begun, we're going to see the PR rollout here over these next couple of weeks about this. Well, before we go into that, I wanted to say, like, for the lung scenario, just look at this on screen, do what you want to do with it, and that's all I can say at this point. It's really up to you what you do. But for me, myself, I know that I got to build up everything. But the crazy part is that the areas is not being sprayed. And then don't forget, in the live chat right now, you can find a link to the ebook that I literally made for scenarios exactly like this, because this was something pre-staged that they planned. So we were getting you ready and we were preparing to make that backup emergency guide. You can find it in the chat section. That's going to be so important because we're covering almost every event that they're going to pull, and you'll have that in the back pocket. But the next step is what the sheriff was telling us. Remember during the clips, it was saying, oh, a powdery substance was going to be released, and people was like, oh, you told us that and nothing happened. Nothing happened, Stephen. And that's because the intel got out, the information got out, and we said they also could move it back towards past the election. We said election, or it could even go further than that. And when the information got out, the plan changed. So obviously that happens, and we avert a lot of situations. So this is for our families and your families to really interact together so that we can get through this. So how are you guys feeling in the chat? Is there one state that I didn't mention on here? Because I've mentioned 12 of them, and we've showed that the continuity of government operations have not sprayed or put the fog in those areas. And a lot of people are really dealing with a lot of crazy stuff right now. So we're going to definitely keep prayer going. But at the same time as we keep prayer going, remember that's really important. The water systems, they want to mess with that. Obviously, we get that. So the best thing we could do is get 5 gallons and start stocking up on all that as much as possible. Somebody says, keep your pets indoors. This is not normal fog. There is chemicals in it. So yeah, definitely. So another thing that I wanted to say is instantly, if you're in it, you should just go and just clean yourself off. You know, a quick shower, get rid of all the stuff that's on you, because most likely the contaminants, if it's true, is going into the skin, and the skin is the biggest vital organ that is affecting us at large whenever we just let stuff sit on us. So that's going to be very important. Somebody says, is it contagious? I'm not sure about that right now. So we're right now looking into everything, and also we've talked to people to try to get samples of this. So that's another thing. If you want to continue to get more information, you want to know everything that's going on, click the subscribe button, click the bell, because you want to get more information. We're going to have that. People saying on the ground, yes, we will get samples. Somebody in New Jersey is saying that. We're supposed to get an interview coming up about this. This is going to be very important. So as a community together, if we can get this information out, we can help avert a lot of different situations that will be upcoming. Somebody says, okay, so there was a document, and the document is called, let's see something. I'm going to try to write this down really quick. It was a document about drones, and I was just looking at it here a few minutes ago, and it was about self-spreading. Let's see, I don't know if you can see that. Well, it's backwards, so let's see something. I gotta write it the other way so you can see it. It was self-spreading. There you go, self-spreading that. And you know what I mean when I put VAX. And it was Fauci who, with Eco Health Alliance, put this in. It was a couple years ago with DARPA, where they were talking about they were going to go and use these things, and they were going to spray across. And I'm trying to remember, it's a code name for it. I'm trying to remember that, but either way, I'm going to put that in the description so you can see that anyway. And because that links into the Johns Hopkins documents, and that's really going to be important here. So if you read that, and it was talking about aerosol delivery. White powder, yeah, somebody says white powder. So yeah, the white powder is the substance that's potentially what needs to be tested right now. So this is going to be really highly important, and we're right now getting information in. We might be even back a little bit later tonight with somebody who has some stuff to tell us about, close to a facility that's somewhere in New Jersey. We got all the locations keyed up. We've done our research on it. We're going to be looking really deep into this. On top of that, the radiation monitoring starts to happen. That begins, it's already started basically. So in Las Vegas, they're going to start doing that as well. Somebody said it's called the aerosol vax. Yeah, exactly. But all the other details, I couldn't say everything because you know how it is here. So key it up. Give us a thumbs up here. And if you're experiencing this in your local area, we need information from you. And you can do that by sjackson2447@gmail.com. We've been growing as a community, but when you really start to get this message out there and we start to help other people, we start to grow even more. We bring other people here to say, I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful. Thank God I found this channel, a lot of people say, because a lot of people are not getting the message, and it's really up to you whether this message get to the people. Oh, that's really important too. Thanks for saying that. Somebody says, I'm using 2 air purifiers in my home. I'm using an air purifier. I use Alexa Pure Breeze. Had it for like 6+ years. It's a pretty good one. And it's good for, you know, virus, bacteria, mold, lots of stuff in the atmosphere. the key essential nutrient is oxygen, which they don't tell you, and it's clean oxygen. Therefore, when we get clean oxygen, in NIH has already said that that's essential nutrient, and that's really good for the body. It cleans out everything. Your body is able to move through the process much easier once you do that.
I got something on my radar. Looks like a fog bank, and it's moving straight toward us.
What kind of fog moves against the wind?
What's that? What's wrong?
I keep seeing horrible things happening. Come on, What's happening?
Get off the island.
Why?
Just go. Somebody out here.
I got some wild information in of the fog scenarios, from email to interviews with the person I got coming on today is going to talk about the scenario at hand of him trying to get the samples. But this was in parts of my backyard when the fog was so thick the other morning. Look what we got here. We got these little small, tiny looking globs. And again, like I said, through this community here, this was sent to me. And we got to look deeper into this right now, because it was other videos that came out, and then I did a deeper dive into this and found some research that's going to be very interesting that nobody's going to be talking about. I mean, majority of the stuff here, nobody's going to be talking about. Let's go into a clip though. Somebody from Louisiana has sent me another clip, and they showed me this right here.
Yo, do you see all this white shit? Look, it's floating through the air over here. See it? All of this stuff has been, look, there's some floating through the air right there.
Look at it.
What is this stuff? Now, look, it's still floating through the air. Right there, see it? What is this stuff? It literally, in person, the camera ain't doing no justice. But it was, our house is over there. And we saw this stuff blowing through the air. What the fuck is that shit? And it's not bubbles. I'm not going to touch it because I don't know what the heck it is. But look at it. It's almost like it's got a... See? It's like... What is that? Big pieces, man. Big pieces. Y'all, in person, this stuff literally looks like clouds. And it's got a weird chemical smell. Like man-made clouds. Look, there's more of it. Look, here it comes, y'all. Look. There's a piece over there. There's a piece right there.
So people was talking about get samples. Well, later in this video clip, we have somebody who is updating us on what he's doing to get samples, and that eventually we're going to get that process. Now, what are we seeing right there? People saying, don't touch it. Definitely don't touch it. What you're looking at here, some people might say, oh, well, that ain't nothing. What you're looking at there is just spittle bugs. Well, it ain't no spittle bugs, because spittle bugs only come around during the summer and the spring. So they ain't doing that. And looking into the other scenario, though, did y'all ever hear of decon fog? I want to hear if anybody in chat heard of decon fog. Let me know, because I've done a deeper study here, and I told you as a community, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through the science, going to get through everything. But apparently, I looked up some stuff where they were making a foam, a decontamination foam that could be used for first responders in a chemical or bio attack. This is 2 Sandia researchers in a site in Washington. Yeah, Washington, where nothing is happening at right now, apparently. You see all the foam on the ground? Multiple independent lab tests. It basically said it can get rid of anthrax, bio attacks, all this stuff. And this is the developer right here who developed decon foam. So this is interesting. The thing is, why would they drop decon foam if they were trying to start something to get people like they're sick? That's the question. Why would they drop that? Unless you have factions in one side of the government that are spraying stuff, and then on the other side you have another one trying to drop. It just doesn't make that much sense to me. But decon foam, we're not 100% sure that's what it is, but we're going to be having people get more analysis deeper into this. But what's more interesting, that even makes the story just jump to the next level, is what they said in Manchester. Look at this right here. They told families, you need to stay inside for 48 hours. And they're trying to say, oh, it's the norovirus and all this crap, which we know that stuff is being sprayed and the fog is being sprayed. We're going to show a video clip in Manchester here in just a second. And we'd like to hear from people in Manchester as well. Check this out.
Can someone explain to me why in Manchester we've had nothing but fog for 4 days now? 4 days in a row. Normally, just behind these buildings, I can see for miles out of my window, but I haven't been able to see past these buildings here, barely seeing this main road since the 23rd of December. It's now the 27th. And I know what fog is, and I've seen fog before, but I don't think ever in my life I have seen fog like this, like a blanket covering for 4 days in a row.
So what we're going to do here is we're seeing that this is leading us into the scenario that we thought was coming. It's the continuity of government operations. I wanted to read a comment here that says something about an army situation where they was talking about, okay, we'll get back to that later because the comments are moving pretty quick. So let's move into this. This is a continuity of government operation. Check this out. GOP Congress slams doctor for imploring Biden to fast-track bird flu vaccine. The fact that they are telling people to stay inside for 48 hours speaks volumes. And we must have forgot that they were talking about mass fatality management, activating the facility management operations, and conducting morgue operations. So all this is really linking down into the big picture here. So what I want you to do here is I want you to tell me what you've been experiencing in your current area. People are saying they're getting rashes, so we definitely don't need people to be touching this stuff. We already said that, and if you do, you should have gloves. Now, what's more interesting is that we told you yesterday we had a map up, and what we did was we put up F because FEMA had areas over there where they were doing operations and conducting a emergency declaration. Q is where all the areas where quarantine stations are for CDC. However, what we didn't tell you about was that in that same zone over there, the FBI headquarters where nothing is being sprayed at. Let's check this out. So as you just seen, this same area where the FBI headquarters is at literally is not being sprayed. And they just moved their new facility to that location, which makes things that much more interesting, that Washington, D.C. is not getting fog. Maryland is not getting fog. that just tells me that this is more continuity of government operations. And don't you think that's what it is right now? Doesn't it look like that? And I appreciate all the super chats that's coming in. We will read those here in just a few, but we want to cover a few more details into the situation. So moving along here, the fogger drones is known to spray anything possible that is a payload. The payloads, which the last video on part 1, we talked about a 4-star general. He said that there were different things on these payloads. And when we look at this, you can have a drone make an entire area look fogged up. We're the only ones showing this technology right now. So the planes seem to be a part of the operation, but the drones seem to be dropping whatever the payload is. And a lot of people are starting to get this itchy feeling on them. And like I was saying, like, we got to decontaminate. We got to get rid of this stuff. And let's just move into the interview at hand today. So the interview we had was about the person who's trying to get samples. He works in a company in New Jersey. And this is going to be a really important update. So I want you to really see this. We got questions coming in from people, and we're going to get those questions answered as well. Let's go ahead and go into this interview I just did today. Okay, so this is what everybody wants to know. They wanted to know what happened with the people that got sick that you said you was working around, and this is in New Jersey. Also, the samples in the future, if you think you can get any of those samples and how you can get that processed.
Yeah, all right. So I kind of messed up because I started seeing other videos of that people were talking about, and like whatever that stuff is leaving a white residue. I had worked on a truck last week when it was like raining here, and I had to drain the oil, but I had just done an oil change like 2 weeks before that, and that shit's expensive. It's like 7 gallons on the truck I was working on. So I put the oil that I drained out of it into 2 5-gallon buckets, and I put them in a garage. But the day I went to go put the oil back in, I opened up the garage. I thought it was raining, but it was like that fog stuff. And when I went to go put the oil back in the truck, that white stuff was like floating on top of the oil. I didn't want to put that back in the truck, man, because if there's a problem, like that comes back to me. So I dumped it in the waste oil tank. And then I started realizing that was the stuff. I could have probably sent that oil in to get analyzed, and we could have figured out what it was. You know what I mean? But I figured out after the fact.
Fog that you said, like this little white little globs, or was it powdery substance?
It was like a white powdery substance that was sitting on top of the oil.
Oh,
you know,
okay. Was this after like you seen some like spraying happen or something from a drone or a plane or something?
I didn't see anything, but that day it was like real overcast, and like the way I saw somebody had a video today, the way that it was coming down from the sky, we were getting hit with it all day that day. I didn't even realize. I thought it was like drizzle, but it wasn't drizzle. They were hitting us with that stuff all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people here have been saying that too, and like how y'all feel in the comments. But check it out. Secondly, you said that you've seen a drone recently, finally over there. Like, what was it doing when you seen it? And then also your friends who got sick, what happened with them? You said this happened like right after you seen it.
Yeah, they got sick when they started doing that job up in Rumson, and it was like the second or third day there. It was like right at the peak of when everybody was talking about the drones and stuff. And like they probably didn't see nothing. Like they don't really pay attention to anything but like what they're doing, like taking out trees and shit. And the one guy got sick like right away, like after the second or third day. And he had complained about like a serious headache and fatigue, and then that was it. He called out for the next couple of days. And then the next day, the other guy, he was like, I could just tell he wasn't feeling it. He wasn't really working. He was doing what he could, but you know, sitting down and like, I'm like, what's up with you, dude? And he's like, oh, I'm sick, you know, like bad, like same thing, splitting headache, fatigue. And then I started putting it together, like they're up in that area where they're spraying, you know what I mean? And these guys probably didn't even notice because they don't know to look for that stuff. And then the other day when I mentioned to you that I finally first saw one, I was sitting in my backyard, just chilling, having a cigarette or whatever. And then I look up and I see this drone, and it had a green light, like a flashing green light. And that was it. And it kind of like creeped by me. I don't know. I put it like 30 feet up in the air. It wasn't that high. It wasn't that big either, but it definitely was like some professional stuff. It wasn't like the kind of hobbyist stuff you get, like if you or I wanted to get. But it creeped above me, and then it passed over, and then it's all of a sudden it just kind of like sped up and went off to the right, and then started moving in like a grid-like pattern. Like one of my neighbors, I guess, over by me, it stopped above their house, and it was just like, I don't know, chilling, like it was trying to analyze something. And then all of a sudden it took off. Like, I'd have to say it was faster than any drone I've ever seen, but I could tell it was definitely a man-made drone.
Definitely. So the other question I wanted to ask, a lot of people want to know this too. So the airspace restriction is literally non-existent almost. Like y'all still been seeing stuff flying over New Jersey right now is what you're saying to me. And like, what is law enforcement doing? They're kind of like still trying to figure it out, because I think these are aerospace corporations that's doing this. Local law enforcement don't know what to do.
Well, what I would have to guess, just being that I lived in Jersey all my life, I mean, I've met a few good cops along the way. I'm not going to say they're all bad. But most of the ones that are high up that are allowed to answer these questions, they're definitely on the take, man. They're definitely, they know what's going on. They just ain't about to tell us what's going on. You know what I mean?
Got you. The samples in the future, if you're able to see that happen again, that would be something we could get for sure, that you can come back on, and then we could try to like see if you get that, and we get the sample test. And because a lot of people really want the samples, and I'm trying to get that from other people as well. But let us know if you can get that though.
Yeah, I think I definitely can. The biggest hurdle that I think I would have would be, who do I send it out to that's not like your standard, like who can I send it to that's going to give us the truth about it? You know what I mean? Like, okay, so I have no problem sending it to a lab, but I don't want them to be like looking at all the stuff that you usually see in like the aerosol engineering and be like, oh, there's nothing there. That's normal now or whatever.
Got you. So we'll have people in the comments from that area of New Jersey, and they know where to send stuff, and they know where to get stuff analyzed. Because I had people that did a chemtrail analyzation before. I think it was, I forgot his name. It's either Mike Decker or something like that. But he had got a sample of that, and they told him everything that was in there. So in the comment section after this is over, we'll have a lot of people probably giving information, and then whoever has the most valid information will then send some to you. So I appreciate it. Don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you just got off work. Super dedicated people in our community here, and I appreciate you, and I'm pretty sure everybody else does too.
Yeah, man. I work outside every day. You'll be hearing from me again, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Be careful, man, and just get everything off of you after you get home, because you know how all these chemicals can just seep into your skin.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
Who is that?
Someone's at the front door, sweetheart.
Stay away from the door! There's something different about this fog.
So please, everybody who knows stuff, after the stream is over, put comments below so that he can find out where he sends this at. A lot of people say, oh, Mike Adams, he does his own lab test. I can't get in contact with Mike Adams, okay? Maybe it's because I contact him by his business website. And so I don't know, but where is Mike Adams? All I know is this is a great community of people. We can get this information. So leave that down below so he can get that and we can get the samples. And I found something even more spectacular to this investigation. I see some people say a deep freeze is coming. I don't know about that. Appreciate the super chats from Sean Swanson. Thank you for your research. From Cindy Turner, from Marilyn M. And this is what I found that's really crazy evolving into this story. You know, the way the animals are responding are one thing, but it was a light that beamed through yesterday, and people were saying maybe that's some type of a, laser from a drone or a plane or some type of LiDAR technology. I did a deeper dive into this, and man, they got some type of technology embedded in this stuff. Look on screen right there. You see the green reflection comes off out of nowhere. Some people are like, oh, well, just the camera. Well, let me read something to you before we make a full conclusion on this. I told you that the artificial fog, we looked at NIH, it says it causes bronchitis issues and all that stuff. That was on NIH's website. But check this out right here. Artificial solid fog material creates pleasant laser light. What? So I'm reading into this, and it's talking about how light sources they got can reflect off of this. And it says this leads to an unpleasant flickering when a laser beam hits the surface of it. And it says the nanostructure not only ensures that material withstands the intense laser light, but can also scatter different wavelengths, red, green, blue laser light, in order to create specific color effects in addition to normal white. For example, using innovative room lighting. Here, extremely lightweight laser diodes could lead to completely new design of concepts in the future. We just stepped off into sci-fi land. So everybody talking about the fog and the mist and all of this crazy stuff. We're talking about structures inside of these things, the artificial fog, and they look like little crystal structures. So I don't know if any of you seen these little crystal structures, but it's wild. And I want to play clips of what people are seeing, and it do kind of looks like these little balls and powdery substance. Again, that's what payloads are made of. Another thing people on the channel were saying was that their dogs won't even go out. And people were saying, I haven't seen any cats going out. Well, that's a sign. The cats, the dogs, the animals, that's a sign if it's not real. And so another thing I wanted to go there, somebody said here in the comments that was really important. They said if it's real fog, then it would be higher up. And if it's so, somebody sent me a clip. This community has been sending so much information. And I'm thankful for you. I'm grateful for every last one of you. I'm so honored to be in the position I'm in to even do this. Remember a couple of years back, somebody said, Stevie, you ain't going to be nothing. You ain't going to be shh. And he looked me in the face and said that to me. And I'm like, look at this guy, just trying to put me down. But now I'm trying to help people globally all around the world. And we're talking about crazy stuff happening. I could have never imagined I'd be in this position right now with all of you here. And I'm thankful for you. Look at this video clip right here. As you can see, this fog is very low, just like we were saying. And so the fog is blanketing down, and most fog doesn't just go straight down like that, symbolizing to us that this is not what we thought it was. Now, there's some more stuff that I want to go and tie into this. I was telling y'all about getting filters, getting the air purifiers. I have that in my house. It helps clean out the body. Clean air, clean oxygen is the quickest way for the body to just heal through its cells and all the different stuff. The 5G and all that stuff makes your body heal at a lower rate. And I want to take you into this video clip of this person who, they have the HVAC system. They have one inside their house. Mine is like a little portable one. And this is what they saw. So check this video clip out.
I need to show you guys my air filter in my house.
You know, it's not even showing audio on this one, so we just got to explain. We got to explain what's happening. What's happening here is when they put the filter, they pulled the filter out. They said they changed it every month. After this fog situation, it was black already after just 1 month, which never happens because you can put a filter in there and it doesn't go black after 1 month. So I wanted to say, this is going to be important because a lot of people are just saying, hey, go and, just go out there and just enjoy life. It doesn't matter what's happening. That's the dumbest thing you can tell somebody. And another thing that people are not talking about is that A guy was telling me he was riding his bike. He said he was riding his bike, and after he rode his bike, what he noticed is he got really sick, and he doesn't get sick that much. This is common here in our community. And what that tells me is whatever this is, it seems like it's lowering our immunity. That's what it seems like what's happening. Somebody says our dog does not want to be outside in this crap. So obviously a lot more people saying their animals are acting a little bit weird. This is not the normal day. And remember what we said. Whenever they get ready to put this stuff in, a mandate is not a law. A decree is not a law. None of this stuff is a law. All this stuff is tyranny. So I promise you, when all this go down, we better have each other's back. We better have each other's back, because last time when all this stuff hit and they pulled out the pandemic plan and everybody was complaining and bickering and just lining up like children, sheep, and their mama and daddies told them to do this and that. The government is mom and dad. Are you going to have our back? Are you going to have my back? Is people in this community going to have each other's back? I want to see in the comment sections right now. Are we going to bow down to tyranny? Are we really going to stand up in mass together? Because I don't really like a world where we all bow down and we all just fall back when we were given this gift from God to stand up and show our responsibility, our duty. We were meant to stand out as a people. We were meant to shine through the darkness. We walked through the valley of the shadow of death, but we feared no evil. So the thing is like, how many of you really, and there's another thing I wanted to pull up right here. It was something that the symptoms that people were saying before I go down deep into this. And like I said, this is a great community of people and I'm thankful for it. I just want us really to hit this message home. So the other aspect of what we're dealing with here, let's go into, and this stream may have hit its bandwidth, meaning that I can't even show the other symptoms. So the other symptoms somebody sent me in, they said they were having like people in their family having dizzy spells. So stomach issue of gassiness, just a lot of different things that we wasn't hearing originally. That's really now going into the. Somebody says I've been waiting for this fight for a long time. Amen. Online warrior. Check this out. Project Defuse Health Eco Alliance, Dr. Fauci, 2018 DARPA. They put this plan in for aerosol spraying. And because after what they seen in 2020, they knew that they was not going to be able to handle us like they did then. So wouldn't it be easy for them to try to do this now? And then start January 21st, where I did the video that got banned, remember? The video got banned, it got taken down off the internet and now to repost it and didn't navigate words. I exposed the drone operations of Johns Hopkins. I didn't expose Project Defuse, which now I'm telling you about it, and I can't say everything because you know how it all is. The drone operators were supposed to use aerosol spreading. And it was something called self-spreading boom, and that was supposed to be an operation when things hit the continuity of government and it really got bad. And Fauci was literally supposed to be in jail right now. The fact that this dude is out still running around like a loose mice is insane. And that's how you know that we have a complicit government in these actions. After all the crimes he committed, and then, he's supposed to be pardoned? You are completely insane if you believe that, oh my God, Dr. Fauci is really here for us after all the things he did. It's ridiculous, man. So like I said, when we go into these next phases, all we got is each other. This community here is going to continue to grow as long as you continue to grow. As long as we continue to grow, as long as we continue to battle back, as long as we continue to share our unique experience in this universe, or realm, or whatever you want to call it, And the fog situation, is this an introduction to something that once they initiate the Project Bluebeam ops, is this going to be something they need to do because they would talk about how environments is contaminated, and then certain things want to live in our environment, and they talk about these creatures and how they need to live in certain type of environments. And it's another part. It's not just terraforming at this point. If they said they're going to activate mass fatality management, then that's what they're going to do, and that's basically happening right now. October, they said that, and now they're doing it. So the big thing is, what can we do as a community, and where does our power lie? Our power lies through communication. Our power lies through us. When we see this stuff, we just get out of it and we say, hey, let's just back up. Our power lies in building up our immunity, because it seems that they're lowering it. And I had a list of stuff on here that I was going to show you, and it was also stress. We need to reduce stress, because if we're going through this and you're stressed, it's not going to help out anything. So we need to reduce that down. We need to take some deep breaths through this process. Know everything is going to be all right. Know that God has us. Know that we're protected under spiritual protection. And the stuff that I was going to show to you about reducing stress, it was certain herbs and stuff like that I had on here. And the sucky thing is now, it's not even able to allow me to pull it up. But staying positive is really going to be important in these next coming months and weeks. And the some of the ones that we wanted to talk about, some of the herbs that was for boosting immunity, it was supposed to be turmeric, ginger, and there was a couple other ones. And you do what you want to do with the information. So I feel like the most important part of this is just us trying to, 1, to stay spiritually aligned, 2, stay healthy, 3, staying connected as community. Because the sheriff also told me what the next stuff would be when they do this, and I had looked it up. And if you go up to Bio Defense News, yeah, grounding is important. Somebody says grounding, but how can you ground right now if you're in all this fog? Unless you have a grounding mat, because some people have grounding mats and stuff like that too. And if your house has a wooden floor, you could technically still ground inside. But how many people have a wooden floor in their houses right now? I don't know. So the sheriff said the next step was they're going to try to then take over the communication systems. And the way they were going to do that is they were going to give law enforcement the ability to take that over. And so as we've seen the steps with the drones and everything else, it seems like this was aligning the pathway for that to happen. So the communication sector right now is really important that we get all the information out as much as possible, you and me, each and every single day. So what I'm doing now is I'm compiling more information, and how are we going to get that information to the one guy who just came on is you. You're going to be giving them that information. You're going to be telling them, hey, so if any of you know a specific lab he can send these samples to that he's found, and that he has to find again because he didn't know what it actually looked like at first because it had just started coming out. Any of you that know anything is going to be important. The comment section here is going to be some of the most important thing anybody can look at. These are some of the most amazing people on the internet right here. And also we got some of the most worst people who can come here sometimes as well. But for the most part, generally it's about 80% just good people, good-hearted people fighting the system, just trying to connect as a community and not really putting up with the nonsense anymore and not shocked by what the government can do at this point. And as we evolve through this crisis, we're just going to get more powerful. That's what's going to happen here. And it could be people that really get knocked off too as the population start to happen. Don't get it wrong. I'm not just talking on a positive note. I'm talking on a realistic note. It doesn't matter if you get knocked off because death is an illusion anyway. Because we all live on and we continue to move on. But what we do here right now for the future generations, it really does hold a huge gravitational effect. And a lot of people in the comments right now are giving you information on how you can help yourself, which is very important for us to do. So and exercise, just always exercise. I'm exercising like 4 days a week, always 3 days at least. So I don't talk about it much, but yes, I'm always doing that. And that's going to be very important. Actually, when you do that, you're activating stem cells. That's actually giving you the ability to have the body heal and do other things. So the thing is, we just as a community really have to take a step back from everything, take a deep breath, see the new the new year is here and see that we have more power than what these enemy demons are trying to throw at us. And that's what's going to be important. Somebody says pure water is very important. Yes, it is. I have a water filter, as a matter of fact, and I filter my water out because I'm getting out microplastics. It's getting out stuff that's like pharmaceutical that's in the water that people just drop, and the people in the toilet and they flush it. So this is highly important stuff right now. Somebody says, yes, fasting. Fasting is very important too. That's shown to, after I think 24 to 48 hours, potentially keep the cells in a good rejuvenation state. So what I want to do though, if you want further information in like the ebook, we put out all the information there for when the pandemic, before it starts, so you can have it in the back pocket. You can print the PDF. It's in the live chat. It's at the bottom of this video as well. And this really is something that has to be in the back pocket of everybody, really, because at this point, 7 years of research, stuff go down. You have that in the PDF, you done printed it out. You're like, all right, I'm ready. And then when you look at anything we're going through, you got the list step by step. And I even talk about how much of the stuff that I take there as well. So, and it's only $15. That's not that much. So again, I hope you get that before everything does happen. But at the same time, I hope you're spiritually aligned and connected. And in this community, we're going to continue to get all this information out. So the sense of calm must come over us, though, as we go through this. I want to state that because the mental warfare that we're under right now, the enemy knows what they're doing, and they need us to be depleted in order for us to go through these phases. So the lowering of immunity, we need to do a reverse opposite of that. We need to boost the immunity. We need to pray, and everything we eat over, we need to pray over. And every time we go into public, we need to pray for protection, a shield over our body. And then we need to actually take physical action and not just say, I'm praying, but you need to also do stuff, because the person who just prays all the time and go eat the trash food and do the worst stuff and, oh, I'm praying, but then you're eating the most poisonous stuff. And then you're saying, why ain't I healing? Because you ain't doing what God told you to do. The herbs of the earth was for us. A lot of us have abandoned that.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far. The hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. The Lord has promised good to me, His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. Yea, when this flesh and heart shall fail, and mortal life shall cease, I shall possess within the veil a life of joy and peace. The earth shall soon dissolve like snow, the sun forbear to shine, but God who called me here, He